Good evening. Thank you for joining us for another evening on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif. And for the next 3 months, we're going to be bringing to you a 6-part series every second and fourth Wednesday evening, starting in December this month, continuing in January and into February, because we're about to introduce to you a powerful opportunity to live on the earth for free. We want to create the society that will exist in the future. And there are many higher evolved societies in which individuals understand how to simply share. But before those of us on earth are able to benefit from this higher evolved thinking, we first have to change some deeply rooted programming that keeps us tied to a system that is destroying our lives. So today, we're ready to set our minds free. We'll be right back to talk to you about sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange, a system called service. We'll be right back.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
For years, we've been saying women have the power to transform this world. We can share our time, talent, finances, most of all, share our love. And love is simply the desire for the well-being of oneself and others. If you desire for the well-being of others, then you do things that are healthy. Love can be said to be the opposite of fear. Fear, of course, is the belief that someone's going to harm you. And when you believe that, then you make decisions that more than likely harm someone else. Fear is said to be false evidence appearing real. And one of the most false beliefs that we're living under is that there is not enough. There's not enough. People aren't going to give me my portion because there's not enough. And so we have allowed an entire system to be created around the fear that there's not enough. People have gone into places where other people live and taken what they have, rather than create a fair system of exchange, believing that there's not enough, when in fact, the earth gives us everything we need for absolutely free. Before we get into the mechanics of creating a different kind of way of living, we want to share with you this thought that helps you to lock that programming that we have accepted all our lives as making sense, when in fact, it makes no sense at all. So let's take a look and think about it.
Isn't it great to be able to breathe the air is free. It's free for everybody to breathe. But just imagine if the air cost money, if there were air companies that charged you a fee for your air, and you had to pay the fee, let's say $1 an hour. So that would mean $24 a day you'd have to have for your air fee. Can you imagine how crazy things would get? Let's say people decided they want to pay in advance. Of course, you want to make sure you had your day's air paid in advance, so you have to pay that fee. Let's say by midnight that night, you have to pay your air fee. Then, of course, if you want to pay a week in advance, that would be $168 you have to pay in advance. So, of course, by 12 midnight on Saturday, if you didn't have your week's air fee paid, then the air police would come and slam for covering over your nose and mouth, and within 5 minutes you'd be clear. People would be doing whatever they had to do to get that air fee paid on time. Of course, the smart people would want to pay it at least a month in advance. So that would give them 30 days of air, $720 in advance. You can breathe and not worry. But it's time to pay that air fee again. If you didn't have that money, you would do whatever you had to do to get it. That would mean steal, even kill. Because if you don't have air, you can't live. So now just imagine what would happen if people didn't have the money to pay their air fee. Now, of course, the wealthy people would pay it well in advance. A year in advance, what would that be? $8,760. So you'd have 365 days of air if you had money. But what if you were unemployed and didn't have an income? What if your Social Security check was late and you didn't have the money to pay your air fee? Let's say when your child is born, you have to have your air fee paid in advance. Otherwise, as soon as your child came out, they sent the covering over their nose and mouth, so they couldn't breathe. And if you didn't have that air fee paid, within 5 minutes, your child would be dead. Wouldn't that be horrifying? Can you imagine the violence that would create? Because people would be struggling to survive. If you don't have air, you can't live. Well, thank God, the air is free, and we don't have to pay. But just think about it. Oh, it's thing is, air is the ground. The earth is, which means whatever grows out of it is free because it was all given to us by our Creator. Water is free. It was all given to everybody to share. So how did we allow some people to create a system where they said they own things? And they said, we own this and we'll kill you if you don't pay us a fee. It was the same insanity. Look at the violence that has created. People are trying to live, so you have to do whatever you have to do because you have to be able to eat. And if you won't have a place to live on the earth, so people are going crazy trying to get money, which is a symbol that those people who have taken control of things say you need to pay to live. Pay for the food that the Creator has given us for free. Pay to have a spot on the earth that the Creator has given us for free. Pay to drink the water that the Creator has given us all for free. So we have allowed others to take control of that which belongs to us all. And it's time to stop. That's why the entire money system is collapsing, because it was wrong from the beginning. You can't earn enough money to pay for something that's already yours, and you shouldn't have to try, because it belongs to all of us. So now, let's create the right system, a moneyless system. The only thing we need a government for is to find out how many people live in our area and make sure each person has what they need to live. Enough food each day, water to drink, shelter, a place on the earth where they can live and not panic because they don't have money to pay. That's the insanity that's created the violence.
And we can stop this violence right now. But we've got to change the way we think, because nothing that the Creator has given us for free should be paid for. Now, what we can do is create something called service units, where we serve each other, and that's perhaps what we can exchange. If we want extra things that each of us can provide, those who have skills, then share those skills, and people can give them service units. And of course, if you did nothing, it still wouldn't cost you to live, because the Creator's already given us everything for free. So our government just needs to make sure every man, woman, and child has what they need to live. And if you want extra, you can serve. That's the fair thing to do. And it would remove all the violence, because no one would have to struggle. They wouldn't have to struggle to drink. They wouldn't have to struggle to have a place to sit down and not have to pay to sit on the earth that's already free. We really can, people. And it's time, because what we've created isn't free. Now, for those people who think they own things, maybe what we should do is stop buying from them. That's what a boycott is. And once you stop buying someone's product, it no longer has value. And so they do what's fair in providing support. We have to begin to share what we have. Now, those of you who belong to a faith community, whatever it is, think about a way you can demonstrate the way it works, because this is God's way. When all of the members of your community have what they need, and they're sharing what they need, and nobody's doing without, and everybody has a place to live and clothes to wear because you're all sharing what you have, then you can provide a model for the rest of the world to follow. And if you're truly following God's way, you'll figure out a way to do that. Once we begin to share, then we end the need for violence, because nobody has to struggle to live. Nobody has to struggle to have their share of what's already been given to them for free. So let's create a moneyless society. We really can do this. We can. All we need is a change of heart. And then everybody can breathe.
Yes, everybody can be free. Well, this is a time of empowerment. And before one can seize power, one has to recognize that one already has power. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll examine the mindset that causes us to collectively agree to something that is hurting us, and how we can change that mindset so that we can choose to do that which helps us. What are the steps? And we want you to stay close, because this day is the day that you change your mind, change your heart, and change your reality forever. We will be right back after this quick break, so stay with us. It does not cost to live. The earth gives us everything we need for absolutely free. So why are we paying? Because we haven't learned to simply share. With service, you can get everything you need without spending any money, and you'll live life abundantly. Service, sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange. Start living the good life now. Go to www.theserviceonline.org.
Have you ever felt called to start a nonprofit but had no idea where to begin? Or maybe you're already pouring your own time, energy, and money into a cause you care deeply about, but you know you could make a bigger impact with the right support. Imagine having a team behind you. Imagine being able to secure funding. Imagine scaling your mission so you can reach more people and change more lives. That's exactly what this training is designed to help you do. We've taken the entire process of launching a nonprofit and broken it down into 7 simple steps, including how to obtain your 501c3 status, how to use it effectively, and how to stay in compliance so your organization continues to thrive. You will walk away organized, confident, and most importantly, grant ready. Register now at 501c3startuptraining.eventbrite.com. That's 501c3 startuptraining.eventbrite.com.
And we are back. You are watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. This is part 1 of a 6-part series that we are sharing with our global family to empower each individual to create that which we have always had the power to create, but simply believed others were in control of our lives. You've probably seen a lot of futuristic programs on television. You've probably seen shows, maybe even like Star Trek or others, that portray an Earth of the future. Now, of course, there are many different versions of Earth in the future, and some of them are disaster movies. And there are people who are focusing on the disaster that they fear. Well, one of the truths about the science of creation is that you create that which you have already imagined in your mind. This is how creation works. Anything you focus on, you put energy toward it, and you cause it to manifest. So if you are currently experiencing a lack in your life, and you keep focusing on what you don't have, you will keep not having it. Because the energy that you're putting forth is, I don't have it. And so you will not have it. If the energy you put forth is, other people are keeping me from having it, then what you are creating is, other people are keeping me from having it. If we understood the power, we would certainly stop looking at disaster movies that predict an Earth that's going to self-destruct in an atomic war and blow up everybody on the planet. We would stop putting our attention on disaster movies that fill us full of fear and dread. And we would stop fearing our neighbor so that we can't simply lend a helping hand when they need it because we're too afraid they're going to harm us. It's fear that keeps us enslaved to a monetary system that has no basis in reality. So we have put forth this idea in the video that everything on Earth, just like the air, is absolutely free. How ridiculous would it be if we allowed someone to charge us to breathe the air? And how much would we panic if we allowed someone to deprive us of the air, which no one owns, and made us pay to breathe it. Why are we then allowing someone to say we must pay for a spot on the earth when no one owns the earth? Everything that grows out of the ground is given to us for absolutely free. We may nourish and nurture the earth to encourage growth, but the sunlight comes down for that. And are we paying the sun to shine? Of course not. Are we paying the wind to blow? Of course not. Are we paying the waters to flow from the sky or water that exists on the earth? No, it was already here. We are merely visitors passing through for a temporary experience in the physical realm before our life force energy, which is spirit, returns to a realm that is spirit. So in this physical experience, we are here on a planet that is giving us what we need for our physical survival: the air, the water, plants which grow plentifully and can be used for shelter, can be used to cover our bodies if weather is unpleasantly cooler than we feel comfortable. We can create anything we need out of the elements that are inside the earth. We can create shelter from the rock that exists all across the earth. We can create shelter from the trees. We can create any tools we need from all of the elements that the earth gives us for absolutely free. It was here when we got here. No one owns it. You cannot own the earth. It is a gift that we have been allowed to experience during our brief visit inside a physical form. That's what this experience is. So in order for us to undo an incorrect way that we have collectively allowed to happen, we have to undo the thinking that makes us believe we cannot change what exists, because we have created it with our collective complicity. And this is why today we are empowering all who listen and will hear with the ability to create a system of exchange, which will then prepare humanity for the new earth that is evolving. It's important to know that the earth is, in fact, transforming. And many, many, many creators of content are expressing this realization. You can use the World Wide Web to watch war, violence, disaster, and everything else that keeps you in a state of fear. And just like being tuned into a radio station, you will stay on that frequency of fear, and that is the information that you will receive, and that is the experience you will have. But if you choose to raise your consciousness to a higher level, then you will discover all over the internet information that is being shared that allows you to realize the earth is about to go through a major transformation. And in this transformation, no negativity can exist. That means no depriving people of basic needs. And there are many, many civilizations that exist where people of a higher consciousness, people who are evolved to a level of understanding that we are all intertwined, are interacting in a way that is mutual beneficially to all who inhabit their space. And there is no crime or violence or poverty or deprivation, because it's understood that if you harm another, you're harming yourself. And no one of higher intelligence chooses to harm someone else by depriving that which was given to all. It's a simple understanding, and yet we have not on this planet been able to realize it in a massive way, because we have allowed century after century after century of violence to create fear. So those who claim ownership by the threat of violence, if their claim is not met with acquiescence, have created a mindset that one must comply in order to save one's life. But this is incorrect, because life cannot be taken. Life is a state of existence, and we are ever existing. And so, when you know this, you do not live in fear. There are master teachers who have come to this earth and experienced this realm and shared information that would have helped us understand this. But much of their teaching was misunderstood by people who still had not evolved to a level of perception of what existence is. This earth school is merely an opportunity to experience opposites so that you can make a decision in your best interest. The state of being of all beings is that of love, which is simply the desire for the well-being of oneself and others. No one comes with the intent to cause harm. That is a behavior that is created by fear. Fear that others are going to harm you. And so you learn to react. Every harmful act is an act of fear. If someone robs you, if they steal from you, it's based on fear that there's not enough, that you're not going to share, that they will not be treated with respect if they don't have something, or they will be ridiculed if they don't have something. And fear is what motivates the transgressions that we commit against each other. It's always fear. Fear that someone who looks different than you will harm you. It's an irrational fear, and yet it's a fear that many people are carrying and many people are motivated by. It comes from incorrect information. It comes from experiences in which people may have had someone who did something harmful to them, and so they generalize. Well, anybody who looks like this will do that. Now, that's a very irrational fear, and yet our entire world is now operating under that irrational fear. So we're going to take another quick break and remind all of us, that we are now connected globally. There is one world community, and we can no longer live by an irrational fear that someone who looks different or appears different in any way is somehow a threat. That is irrational and incorrect. And it's keeping us complying with a system that is hurting us. So we'll be right back after we greet our global family who is joining us from all over the world. And all of us are going to experience the new earth evolving. We'll be right back.
We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network called 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you. Yes, we do. And every day we talk to you, we want you to hear and reflect and begin that process of transformation of thought. So as we look at what has happened with our global family and recognize that the things that we do are based in fear, we must empower ourselves by choosing to let go of fear. It's a simple choice. Think of how many people lived in fear during the experience of enslavement. This was a fear based on conditioning, public floggings, beatings, torturings. The fear of pain kept people in a state of paralysis for centuries. And this fear is still inside of many people who are incorrectly believing that there is a group of people that controls the earth. There is not. No one controls the earth. No one controls the earth. And because this incorrect belief has been ingrained in a number of people over a period of time, anyone who questions it is likely to be met with resistance, with the thought that somehow, if you don't comply, then you're going to be punished with pain. So, in this first step, what we want to do is simply
change, and indoctrination that allows people to use fear rather than certain knowledge that they are just as powerful as everyone else on the planet. There is no one that has power over you. There is no one who has power over you. There is no one who has power over you. Let that sink in for just a moment. Because in fact, once you recognize that truth, then you are able to change your reality. If you needed, let's say, someone to start your car in the dead of winter, and you went next door and rang your neighbor's doorbell and said, "Do you have jumper cables? My car is stalling. I need somebody to give me a jump." And they came out with their jumper cables and jumped off your car, and you got it started, and you went on down the street. That's a simple thing. A simple thing, simple act of kindness. Didn't have to worry, oh, I'm not going to be able to drive my car. I'm not going to be able to get to work. I'm not going to be able to take my children to school. Simple act of kindness. Well, simple acts of kindness are all that's needed in every single phase of life. Everything can be done by simply desiring the well-being of others. It's a state of mind. What I have, I will offer to others. So the system of service is one that will allow you to live this way. And yes, you might say, well, everybody is not going to comply or be kind. And what about all these other things we have to pay for? Well, we'll get to that. The first step, we want you to empower yourself to live for free by first recognizing that the earth is already free and it does not cost anything to live. No one owns anything. This first realization has to happen before you're ready to evolve to the next step, which the earth is going to go. It is known that the earth is about to make a transformation in which no negativity can exist. And the people who are ready to live in this new earth are people who are ready to create a system that no longer abuses others by withholding what others need. Now, there have been many scriptures that speak of a new earth, and fear-based teachings say all the bad people are going to be cast into hell and the good people are going to be taken up to heaven. Well, that's the fear-based religious indoctrination that is incorrect. But if you believe that this is your reality for the future, this is the reality you will create for yourself. A place where you are suffering because you believe it. And where you put your focus, where you put your energy, is what you create. But there are those who understand that the new earth is not a result of an angry, punishing God, but a change of mind, a change of heart, a change of spirit, a change of energy, which leads to a change of action. And these are people who are tuning in to those content creators all across the world whom we can reach with touch of a button on a phone and hear and understanding that the earth is evolving to a different vibration. And what is happening is that those people who are in tune with that vibration are getting the inspiration to create new systems that are not based in fear and an incorrect belief in lack. They're creating systems that remove the idea of ownership of a few over all the resources that everyone needs, so no one can exchange or use what is here for all to use because it's owned and controlled and hoarded by others. The current banking system is collapsing because it's based on withholding and hurting. And just like the blood in your body, if it doesn't circulate, then it can't live. Your body can't live unless the blood circulates. Well, that which we have agreed to use in exchange, the currency, the money, is not circulating because there are people who are impoverished, people who are being deprived of shelter, people who are being deprived of food by those who are saying they own the earth and all that comes out of it, and they're withholding it and saying, if you don't work for me, enslavement, I will not allow you to have what the earth is yielding. You must pay in this symbolic form that I have decided is the form that is acceptable. And so we now have a system where that which is the symbol of exchange is being withheld from all of the people who need to circulate it and need to benefit by it. So we have created a dying society. The homelessness, the poverty, the neglect, the illness. This system isn't working. But those who believe themselves helpless will remain on that old earth, because what they need to learn is the lesson that unless all are benefiting, none of us can live comfortably. We are here to learn how to love and how to create systems that are loving. And until we learn that, we're going to experience what is created when we are unloving. And we will continue to experience it until we choose to create and operate systems that are loving, systems that are made for the purpose of maintaining the well-being of ourselves and others. So those who think that it can't be done, for them it cannot. They are stuck in their fear. But those who are ready, they will experience the coming of the new earth. And this is not something that's going to happen in an explosion. It is a state of being that you will simply realize you are now living in. You will be experiencing the peace of your decision to share. So the system of service is simply a guideline to prepare for the transition for a higher evolved society in which there is no fear, because we already understand that we can only thrive when everyone thrives. And so this will be a way of life. and you will experience it in your lifetime. And this is a first step. So we'll take one last break. And when we come back, we'll give you a breakdown on how the system works. And over these next weeks, we'll guide you through the process of creating that which will transform your life so that you are living in a moneyless society where the system of exchange is service, sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange. We'll be right back after this quick break, and we want you to stay with us.
Welcome to Masterforce with Mushim Soot. Join us each week on Thursdays at 7 a.m. Central, live on Facebook and YouTube on the Female Solution page, as we dive into powerful topics designed to assist you in mastering your life force. Our conversations feature a diverse lineup of experts, all dedicated to your growth. Tune in weekly to discover new ways to elevate your spirit and raise your vibration. And remember, we are ascending. Have you ever felt called to start a nonprofit but had no idea where to begin? Or maybe you're already pouring your own time, energy, and money into a cause you care deeply about, but you know you could make a bigger impact with the right support. Imagine having a team behind you. Imagine being able to secure funding. Imagine scaling your mission so you can reach more people and change more lives. That's exactly what this training is designed to help you do. We've taken the entire process of launching a nonprofit and broken it down into 7 simple steps, including how to obtain your 501c3 status, how to use it effectively, and how to stay in compliance so your organization continues to thrive. You will walk away organized, confident, and most importantly, grant ready. Register now at 501c3startuptraining.eventbrite.com. That's 501c3 startuptraining.eventbrite.com.
Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair.
Hey family, this is Charles Humphrey of MCH Publishing, and I'm here with Ashada, and we at the Soulful Chicago Book what?
This is the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair, slamming.
We getting down in Hyde Park. Just run it down, my sister. Just tell us, for the people, a little bit about what we're doing here today and why.
You know, this is the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair, and this month is very important. I feel like we don't give it the type of recognition that it needs, but beyond that, I do all things literary, and we have so many ancestors that have taken a tradition of writing and done great things. Well, we have those of us that are carrying on that tradition, and nobody knows about them until now. So the Soulful Chicago Black History Book Fair is allowing us to tell our stories according to ourselves for our own benefit. And it's just beautiful. I mean, she could have been here today if you wasn't here, but if you were, it's been amazing. People came in consistently, children, and we have children's authors, we have nonfiction authors, we have fiction authors. This is really good. And it's about taking our own power in our own hands and doing what we do on the literary tip, though.
Right.
I got to work, but I can't help it. Everything going to school. Now I just about bring my African shit like this. Bring it back.
Well, some events coming up that you need to know about. You need to be there because these are people who know how to spread knowledge and change lives. And you need to be a part of those people who are in that higher vibration of love, joy, peace, harmony, and sharing. So, we on the Female Solution are constantly promoting higher wisdom, higher knowledge, the evolution. As our dear sister Mushepsu says, we are evolving. And the earth is going to be different for those of us who have learned how to live according to higher spiritual principles. And this has nothing to do with your religion. This has to do with your awareness of the divine energy of creation, however you have expressed it, so that you are receiving the messages, because the divine energy of creation sends them out. And if you are attuned like a radio signal, you can pick up the message. This is why so many are being inspired to create a different banking system. We see the cryptocurrency market exploding because it's understood that we must have a system of exchange that is not controlled by large corporate entities that can withhold the means of exchange and create poverty. So people are picking up the signals that it's time to create something different that's controlled by individuals and is empowered by simple agreement. We agree that this is a form of currency, a symbol of exchange that we will honor. That's all money is. It is something that people agree to use as a symbol of exchange. It has only the value that we collectively agree to give it. And so anything can be a symbol of exchange if it is honored. This is why you have countries and they have all different currencies. And so when you go in that country, you've got to convert to their currency if you want to do business, because everyone in that country has agreed that this is the symbol that they will honor. And we all have the power to choose to honor a particular symbol. So this is the way service works. And when we see how simple it is to create something else that everyone has access to, then we will see how simple it is to end the poverty that was created by the delusion that other people own the earth. No one owns the earth. The earth is here for all of us to use and share. So, the website, theserviceonline.org, provides a simple system that can follow, empower you to create a group of people that you can trust to begin this process of transformation. As you've seen, the video, of course, reminds us that there's nothing on the earth that anyone owns. It's all for free. and we can create a moneyless society. These are the steps we will go over each week, the second and fourth Wednesday in December, January, and February. We'll go over each of these 6 steps. First, empower yourself to live for free. And you do that is simply to realize you have the power. It's in your hands. There's enough of everything on the earth for everyone to have whatever is needed. So the first step is to empower yourself with that realization. There is enough. There is enough. There is enough. And when you know that, then you can remove the fear-based programming that keeps you believing that you are at the mercy of someone else. So think of all the things that you have accumulated through your lifetime. You have things that you can't possibly use. You're stuffed in closets, bags, boxes. These possessions are things that are needed by others. And if you shared them, think of how their lives would be enriched. You can just give them, just like that neighbor just comes and give you a jump. And you just do it. And when you do that, then you change the atmosphere, because then you have people who have what they need and they're not living in fear of lack. And think of the things that you can do, skills that you have, whether it's cooking and cleaning or fixing a computer. You might be very skilled at organizing the papers and books, and you might be organized at bookkeeping and organizing figures. You might be very skilled at braiding hair. You might be skilled at painting a house. You might just be willing to do some basic labor that helps out. But every action is something that can help another. So what happens if you just did things for people? Well, recognize the skills that you can offer to others. And then the fourth thing is to identify who are your friends. 5 people that you know, like, and trust. And that trust factor is important, because these need to be people that you are willing to create a system with of sharing. These people are those whom you care enough about, and you desire for their well-being, and they desire for yours. And in your heart, you would lovingly do for them, and they would lovingly do for you. These may not be family members. They might be friends. They might be coworkers. They might be fraternity or sorority sisters or brothers. They might be people at your house of worship. They might be people live on your block. They might just be people you've met randomly, but they are people that you have in your heart and you care about them. Identify at least 5 of those people, because with these people, you are going to create a system of exchange in which you're given a point value to each of the items that you own, that you give. You're given a point value to each minute that you provide help to someone. Whatever activity, it has a point value. And these are service points. And within your group, this is what you use to exchange your own currency that you honor. And so the last step is to help each other by using your service points as currency. And you keep track of it using a simple device, your cell phone. That's all you need to get started. And you can empower yourself to live for free. You can create a moneyless society. Start out with those 5 people that you know, like, and trust. Well, of course, this is merely step 1 in this process. And we are giving you an opportunity to be the forerunners of a higher evolved Earth that is coming. And there will be a time when Earth will not use money. And many futuristic shows are portraying a new Earth in which we've simply learned how to cooperate. But we need a transition, a way of exchanging which everyone can agree to. And we can know it's fair and we can honor it. And as we expand, we will realize that we always had the power to live this way as soon as we remove the fear-based programming, the incorrect belief that someone else owns the earth and can cause us pain if we don't pay. I'm Naima Latif, and this has been part 1. And we want you to reflect on what you have heard. And the first step is to empower yourself by removing fear-based belief systems that make you think that things cannot change because they won't let it happen. There is no they. There is no one on this earth that is more powerful than you. If you remember that scene in Roots with Kunta Kinte holding up his son saying, "Behold, the only thing greater than yourself." Well, this is how we must realize who we are. There's no one greater than you, and no one stopping you from creating a system where you share with those you love and they share with you, and you honor the sharing that they have done with others. And this is the way we begin to create a moneyless society of service, sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange. So join us in 2 weeks for part 2, in which you name your possessions that you have but don't use. And this is the wealth that you have that you're not recognizing, but you will in fact use it in the means of exchange and enriching others. So just remember, enrich, empower yourself to live for free, name your possessions you have but don't use, recognize your skills you can offer to others, identify 5 friends that you know, like, and trust, create your service group using your phone text chain system, and then help each other by using service points as your currency. We'll be back with part 2 in 2 weeks. Until that time, we want you to prepare for the new earth. And we'll see you soon as you empower yourself with a new thought that you are the forerunners of a moneyless society. We'll see you next time.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jareth. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.